Hey, you're watching PROfintech. My name is Eva. Verification complete. Such a relief to hear that whatever has been verified. Almost like passing an exam, right? So what is verification? Who runs the process? And what do you need to be ready for in case you have to pass one? Let's gain an insight into these subjects one by one. The word verification comes from the Latin versus, which means true, and fecere, to do. Literally translated, it means to create truth or to confirm. Verification procedure is required in a variety of areas. Verification on the internet is a widely used process of users' identity confirmation when accessing any private account. The system makes sure that you are not hacking someone else's profile and that you are not a robot. Celebrities and public figures also verify their accounts on social networks. When such profile verification is complete, a special icon appears on the profile. This assures that the page is hosted by the celebrity or his official representative. An electronic signature is a kind of verification too. In some countries, a document signed by electronic signature can be even accepted by the court as evidence. A quality system may also have its special verification. When verifying the quality of goods, the certificate of conformity is issued. It confirms that the goods comply with a set of technical standards, for instance, international ISO standards. This verification greatly simplifies the exchange of goods, especially on a global scale. Quality signs help the customer choose a really good product. Users verification in fintech is a well-known procedure. When applying for a new service, for example, when creating a new profile in car sharing, the user's identity must be verified. Sometimes it's allowed to verify it via social media or mobile phone number. In some cases, a test payment via an internet bank is required. True, when the registration is complete, a fingerprint or Face ID login is enough to re-enter the system. The described procedure is basic user verification. Its mechanism is well developed and may be confidently implemented in daily services. A much more complicated, enhanced user verification is required when applying for service at financial institutions. For instance, when opening an account within a payment system or a digital bank. This is a much more complicated process. The technical side of it is entrusted to a third party, compliance and verification agencies. In some markets, such agencies must be certified and listed in the official registry of personal data operators. In other countries, there is no mandatory certification, but ensuring the highest level of data security is a legal obligation of verification agencies by default. The reputation of these organizations is highly dependent on the quality of service they provide. Any data trespass or security breach is highly likely to lead to a company's closure. By the way, did you know that the verification process is carried out by a third party and not by the bank or the payment institution itself, as most customers believe? Banks or PIs buy this service from a compliance and verification agency. However, the full responsibility for the further actions of people who have passed verification is taken by the bank or PI. This is why it is so important to choose the compliance agency so carefully. Everything matters: their methods of work, technology, reputation. In some countries, the verification service is not necessarily licensed. It appears that any organization with the right technology and access to databases can provide this service. The only difference between various providers is how carefully the documents are being checked and which databases are used. Responsible compliance and verification agencies complete security audits and GDPR audits annually. This serves a quality guarantee of their service. So the verification agency conducts its own check of the potential client. Based on its results, it makes a decision whether to connect the potential client and the bank or reject the application. If the check is passed successfully, the potential client's data is transferred to the bank and they decide whether to open access to the service. Most often, this is also an automatic process, otherwise each registration would take days. However, if the client does not pass the check, the decision to decline his application is made instantly by the verification agency. The bank in this case will only have access to the reports, whose access was denied and for what reason. So, what remains behind the scenes of the verification procedure and how it all happens in a couple minutes? The list of procedures required for verification is strictly regulated by law. In Europe, primary law is the GDPR and the AML-CTF directive, also known as the 40 recommendations by FATF. By the way, did you know that the Financial Action Task Force, short name FATF, was established in 1989 by G7? Initially to combat the growing problem of money laundering and financial terrorism. In its first year, FATF issued a report containing 40 recommendations that aim to protect financial systems from drug traffic money laundering. The classic verification procedure is conducted in several steps. Each of them is fully automated. Depending on the particular bank request, an additional action round may be required. Live verification via an agent, meaning a video call. If you are required to complete one, make sure you are alone at the time of the call, in a quiet place, better at home or in a separate office. There are cases of denied verification when potential clients try to take such a call while being in the shopping mall or in the open office with other people in the same room. Their applications were declined immediately and there is no second chance. The first step of a classic procedure is the well-known KYC, also known as Know Your Customer. The main objective at this stage is to make sure that the person filled in the correct data in the application and did not hide anything. First of all, a person takes a picture of a passport or ID and takes a selfie. By the way, sometimes it's quite challenging to take a picture of a document. The hallmark of a good verification agency is good technology and IT solutions. Flawless user experience is a must. Apps should easily recognize passports and IDs. A selfie taken during the registration is not static, but a live one. It is actually a short video. High technology and artificial intelligence need to be applied to compare pictures of a face at different angles with a two-dimensional photo from an uploaded document. This is face match technology. It compares 52 parameters, specific reference points on the face to verify the biometrics. The system calculates the percentage of matches, the so-called match score. If the passing score is reached, it is for sure that the person on the selfie and the document holder is the same person. After that, a potential client's document check is allowed. Image capture technology allows to verify the authenticity of the identity card. The system has samples of documents issued worldwide. It's important to make sure the uploaded document matches this sample. Best verification agencies also check document scans or pictures for traces of graphic editors. The next step is optical character recognition technology. It recognizes all textual information in a document. By the way, it is not always computer-generated. In some countries, they still issue documents with some handwritten information on it. First name, last name, personal ID number, document expiry date. When all that necessary information is gathered, it's time for a database check. The main objective of this step is comprehensive screening against various lists. System searches if a person appears in the sanction list, list of criminals, Interpol database, and many other sources. An excellent verification agency makes a screening against up to 2,500 sources, even though only about 50 are mandatory. Of course, being listed in some of the databases is not a reason for denied verification. It just means that such individuals require advanced risk assessment before offering access to the service. For example, a list of politically exposed persons. It happens that people associated with politics are more likely to be involved in criminal activities. Adverse media screening also requires a tailored approach. As the name implies, adverse media or negative news is defined as any kind of bad information discovered across a wide variety of news sources, from traditional media to social networks and blog posts. A thorough analysis of all relevant information helps to build a potential client's profile and determine one's reputation. A large amount of negative information indicates that the customer possesses a substantial level of risk, so further due diligence is necessary. When done manually, as it used to happen before verification agencies took over this screening, it was necessary to check the source of every news, its authenticity and significance, which was extremely time-consuming and complex. Because the amount of information is huge, it can quickly change its relevance, and it is easy to miss important details. With automated systems like those used by verification agencies, it became possible to screen customers in bulk across tons of databases and news sources and receive only risk-relevant results. News can be fake and their adverse consequences are inevitable. It is very important to verify the sources and authenticity of information, which the computer handles perfectly. Let's take natural language processing technology, or NLP in short. This is a product of artificial intelligence machine learning and allows to process terabytes of information quickly and efficiently. The system checks the connections of various objects on the internet and almost certainly reveals if a potential client is involved in crimes such as money laundering, drug trafficking, corruption, terrorism, and other serious violations of the law. Depending on the content of the unfavorable news, the level of risk may vary. References in the media and publications are not always an unconditional reason for decline in verification. In mild and uncertain cases, the Compliance and Verification Agency will notify the service provider about the publication facts and leave the final decision making to it. We now know what's behind a seemingly simple verification procedure, who conducts it, and what high technology is involved. That's it for now. See you in the next Pros.